I'm getting money, you see me. Stack it up to the ceiling. If you're looking for me, you know just where to find me. I'm on a pod with TC, with TC. Oh, I'm on a pod with TC, with TC. I'm getting money, you see me. Stack it up to the ceiling. If you're looking for me, you know just where to find me. I'm on a pod with TC, with TC. Oh, I'm on a pod with TC, with TC.
To the home health agencies because they want to expand access to care.
Right.
Right. They're not going to the hard to reach places.
Right.
And getting clients. They want to go to the same high rises that everybody's already been to.
Right.
And tell them about their agency.
Right.
Go throw that on a stack of flyers.
Man.
I met 10 people, you know what I mean? I mean, come on, you go to the event so you know
exactly.
you getting to see, right? And these people are actively doing it. We're in the business life cycle, we're a mature business, you know what I mean? Like, my grandmother is working to revamp now. It's hard. You really, at this stage you sell or you invent the iPhone. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, it's hard to, you can't do the same thing for 25 years and expect to still be successful.
Right.
So you have to
change with the times, technology. Absolutely.
Now, home health care is unique in that I don't think people's grandmothers are going to be cool with robots coming in and taking care of them. So I think home health is going to be, here to stay as a job. But as an industry, it has to be raised up.
Correct.
Because if they go $18, we talked about that with Ed Gainey at Wealth Wednesdays.
Absolutely.
If they go 18 minimum wage and the state pays the agencies in Pittsburgh $19.32. So we've got to pay the aid, pay our taxes, pay all of our staff, and have all of our profit after what's left, after whatever we pay them.
Right.
So the margin, we're working on like $3 margins. You know what I mean? Because there's so much cost. It's like 90% cost in this industry. People don't know that, especially for a mature business. Now, when you're a home health aide and you transition to having an agency, it's great money because you're still on welfare.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you work the job, I mean, you're poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're eligible for all of the services.
Right.
And truth be told, and this is not to down the industry, it was why I transitioned. I had great success with All Care, but it wasn't something that I was passionate about.
Right.
And I made a lot of money. I was able to leverage that into real estate.
Yes.
And that was life changing. It changed the dynamics of me and my grandmother's relationship because instead of me coming like, I need, can you? It's like, the first property we did, first deal we did, it was like, I found these two properties, I'm getting two properties for $22,000, give me $10,000. She was like, you already owe me $1,000, here go $9. Like, you know what I mean? That's exactly how it went too. You gotta have some paper around here to be able to make some moves.
Yes.
And take advantage of opportunity.
And I'm gonna pause us right there because pay attention what this man said. Grew up in the home and healthcare industry. Quickly realized, I can leverage this into real estate investing, and that's where we're going to segment to, because not only have you done that, but you've done that in a unique way where you continue to flourish. And you're, let's just dive into a lot of some of these exciting deals you've done. And as someone who is in awe of how you've been able to move and navigate that space, someone who has aspirations to eventually be in that space as well, I always, just pay attention to, you're an avid on Facebook and all your other platforms, so you are really someone who people should look to tap into, because you're not a gatekeeper. You're somebody who does what he does, but you're also willing to pour lessons in anyone who's able to reach out to you.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to build a team. I mean, I feel like you're part of, you're a part of that. We got to add you to the group chat.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the group. You're in the group chat now.
Hey, I'm excited, man.
After yesterday, you're in the group chat. So that's major. But okay, the last thing I'll say about my stint at home healthcare, or the things that come from that, was doing what you don't want to do.
Right.
Led to success. You got to do right with the money.
Yes.
Because my real estate holdings on the personal side is really equivalent to what I made in that 4 years.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I didn't lose nothing.
Right.
I don't have the $15,000 in income coming in like I had.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, I still on paper it's still there.
There.
So, not doing what you don't want to do, finding success, doing right with the money, and being in a regulated industry.
Gotcha.
And what I mean by, well, you know that in banking, right?
Yeah.
Having rules, having regulations, license auditing, right? The business is structured.
Yes.
Lawn care, barbershop, construction, not really regulated.
Yeah.
They're not telling. There's nobody telling you what rules and policies and procedures you need to have
Correct.
within your business.
Correct. So you tendency to be all over the place or not have.
Just don't know what you're doing. Or yeah, you just gotta make it up. You just gotta make it up.
Right.
And so I was fortunate that my career took me into a regulated industry,
Gotcha.
and I was forced to do the regs.
Right.
then there. Before I got down here, she mailed me the title of the state constitution,
Right.
that is the Medicaid, like basically the Medicaid chapter of the state constitution. She sent it to me,
Right.
and I had to read that, and that is why I've been able to approach real estate and become a millionaire quicker than most people, or without doing it like I don't even have a mortgage, you know what I'm saying, on
Right.
any of my properties.
Right.
I don't even got good credit, you know what I'm saying, but I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I know money.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And I came into the game with money, which I would recommend not doing for real estate. Like if you're getting into real estate, start with nothing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's great because you'll network. You know what I mean? Like you'll do.
No, I mean I know you're about to say why that is, but with just like in a simple way for people to understand
Right.
why you.
Okay. The reason why you don't want to start in the real estate game with money. What do you do with what do people do with money?
Spend it.
Exactly. Right? If you have money, you're going to spend the money.
Right.
Like you're not going to innovate.
Gotcha.
You're not going to create. You're not going to, you know what I mean? You're not
Yeah.
going to be patient.
Right. Okay.
You're going to
That makes
spend
sense.
the money.
Right. Yep.
That's, you know what I mean?
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
So, but if you don't have any money, now you got to network. Now you got to
Gotcha.
introduce yourself to people.
Yes.
Now you got to pitch. Now you got to, right?
It makes you move differently.
Right.
Got you.
Then you meet all of these different real estate professionals.
Right.
Because you came in with nothing.
Yeah.
You had to get, so by the time you get something, you know a bunch of contractors.
Yes.
You done met and talked to a couple realtors.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's the great place to start, is at the bottom with nothing.
Right.
That's the best place to start with real estate. You know what I mean? Education. I mean, if you got education, that's what you should be investing in first.
Right.
Is your education. If you have a little bit of money, 5,000, 10,000, you should invest into education.
Right.
Because that's no money
Right.
in real estate. You can find in Pittsburgh, you can still find a house for 8,000, 10,000.
Right.
I bought a house for $7,500 in West Homestead. It was a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
Okay.
About a $7,500. This was 2018, 2019.
Right.
You know what I mean? So not that long ago.
Yeah.
So I ended up selling it for $35,000. Just really broke even on it.
Right.
But was happy to see it go because the borough was a mess. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So how we got into the real estate, man? Like we started out in 2015.
Okay.
And so that also, like, you know what I mean, I feel like I've done real estate, home health for 10 years, 11 years, and I've only been doing real estate for like 8. But next year, it'll be 10 years in real estate. We did our first flip in 2015.
Right.
And we got it funded. We had somebody, we went to a real estate investing conference. So, they send out those free seminars.
Yes.
You want to get in, so we started there.
Okay.
Went to the free 2-hour. Boom, we're there for 2 hours. They say, hey, come to the 3-day weekend. It costs $2,000.
Right.
All right, we're going to spend the $2,000. We come to that, we went. That was worth it because at that 3-day weekend, I had a man named Mark Carisco. He's on Twitter. You can look him up. He's still doing those classes and stuff like that. He changed my mind about money that day. Like just sitting there in our ballroom in Green Tree. The hotel in Green Tree's closed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
But he changed my mind about money. He was like, just talked about, how, okay, black people, what we think about credit cards, right?
Yeah.
Y'all don't use them. There's people, I don't use no credit card. Or, right? He pulled out a stack of credit cards that was like this. He was like, this is what I travel with. You know what I mean? Right? And if you know how to use
them,
that can be amazing.
Right.
The amount of points that you're getting. He was speaking about something called credit card floating, like really just being able to have cash balances, using that to, you know what I mean? So the balance never shows up, but you're never the one paying the balance either. You just float, you know what I mean? You float it
All
around.
his actual money is either in a nice investment or an account that's earning him.
Right. And you got to, if you don't have income, you can't do any of this.
Right.
You know what I mean? You 1.5 months of fun and you'll be in bank. You'll be thinking about bankruptcy, right? But
beautiful gym, by the way. Beautiful gym.
Absolutely. But he was also saying that because of his real estate holdings, what he did, I'm giving this. You might have to call this episode $1 million worth of game.
Hey,
I'll give it to y'all.
Whatever
I paid for
this
it.
was a setup for you to go wherever you wanted to go with it.
Yeah, I paid for it, right? But this is how we started, man. Like he was just like, he talked about not having an income, right? He said, own nothing, control everything.
Yes.
Right? Like that's the message, right? So he does it. His personal bank accounts have $300 in it. Personally, I'm poor. I get food stamps.
Right.
I ain't got nothing in my name.
Right.
I ain't got no job.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not. You know what I mean, right? But I may have a consulting company that's thriving. That may have a contract with my business.
Right.
A business that I'm involved with. I ain't the CEO. I ain't the you know what I mean?
How it's structured matters. Yes.
Right? And we talk too much sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? People think I talk too much, but no, y'all talk. I'm talking about, you know what I mean, some stuff I'm putting myself in. People are probably Xing themselves out of things, right? Just running their mouths. And a lot of what we know comes from hearsay and superstition.
Yes.
Like most of the things that we were taught by our parents. They was taught about it, like it's not really rooted in I did this and went through this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like whole credit card thing. Like one person messed up a credit card when it was 18 in college, and now they taught a whole generation of kids not to do credit.
Yes.
Like now nobody can get a mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? 30 years later, nobody.
And they've created a world where our people think that there's some evil or bad about having debt.
Filing bankruptcy. Right? Like how many times former President Trump filed bankruptcy?
Right.
Every business he had, like, you know what I mean? At least once, right?
Yeah.
But we're uneducated.
Yes.
We're uneducated. And so that's why I start there with my real estate investing journey is we paid $2,000, we paid the free seminar, we paid $2,000. The $2,000, they changed our mind, they invited us to Vegas. Cost $34,000. Not just the education, but maybe it was $25,000, but everything else, flights, hotel, everything, it's $34,000.
So you invested in your education because you knew what you were investing in and where you could ultimately end up.
No, I mean, kinda, but more so, we knew we didn't know what we was doing.
Gotcha.
Like we knew we didn't know what we was doing.
Okay.
And we could have easily spent that. She did. If you would have asked my grandmother for the money that we spent and invested into the education, if you'd have asked her for it, or if the business would have needed it 2 weeks before you know what I mean, she wouldn't have, right?
Gotcha.
But for what was promised, right? Once we learned what we could do.
Got you.
Once we learn that we can get a house and we can have somebody, we can borrow money from somebody else, pay a few $100s a month in interest, and sell the house, get them their money back, keep everything that's left over. It's like, yeah, I can find them. I can find the money. Let me call my sister. Let me call my banker. Let me call my insurance.
Move some things around.
You know what I mean? So that you can do that, right? But there has to be a little bit of financial education there to even be able to do that. So that's what we started, and when we were fortunate because when we were checking out, when we were leaving the last session of the seminar, third day, we're standing in line, we talking, we're on, you know how those seminars be, you be on fire.
I've been to a few. Yep.
Man, you be like, oh man, you writing this down, you got your notes, you just like, you know, and we're talking about our buyers list, and while we're sitting there's a lady in front of us, so a Hispanic lady and a white man. And white man was fly, he had like a blue velvet blazer, and he was fly, had a slick back, right? He was like, we was talking, and the lady kind of eavesdropped, and she was like, you know, I was like, we need a buyer's list, and she was like pointing to him, like kind of like, he's your guy, right? We exchanged information, and he lived in New York. He lived like upstate New York. He was a lawyer. He helped people get their liquor licenses and stuff.
Okay.
And we, you know, just negotiated back and forth, found a title company, and this man that we met in line at a seminar in Vegas loaned us $60,000. Loaned us $60,000 to do our first real estate deal, to do our first flip. And then David McGowan bought the house.
Yeah,
like,
he talked about that.
Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's dope. You know what I mean? Like all these full circle moments.
Yeah.
That's how you know right? Like if you find yourself going off a cliff into nowhere, or if it's a dead end, you
Right.
did something wrong. When you find those when you come full circle,
Right.
that's when you know what I mean, that you're on.
Absolutely.
And so the education led. We didn't make any money on that deal though. You know what I'm saying? It was like but we learned a lot. And then
You didn't let that shape anything. You continued on.
kinda. I had my real estate business. So
Okay.
then I had my real estate business. I mean my healthcare business, and I focused on that.
Gotcha.
And that
okay.
forced her, because I was no longer here. That forced her to focus on her healthcare business.
Gotcha.
So we started in the real estate,
Okay.
and then jumped right back into the bread and butter.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
and so then for the 4 years we were doing that. We really after my run, I had started acquiring properties, working with wholesalers, right? Instead of buying them on the MLS and using a mortgage,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying? I was working with wholesalers. My first deal was 2 houses for $22,000.
Okay.
Shout out to my boy Derek Hassim. He's on Facebook. You can find him. He's still got houses for rent to own. He's fair wholesaler, legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's pretty much sold me all my houses, or connected me to the people who I've bought all my houses from. And
Gotcha.
I was getting them from, let me say that, it was the same seller. He was the wholesaler,
Right.
and I was the buyer on like 80% of our transactions.
Gotcha.
Even the Penn Hills house, he wasn't involved in that transaction, but the house with the pool we just sold for a $250,000 profit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what
Congratulations
took
again.
away.
Yeah.
The same day we had the mayor there.
This
You
man
know
at
what I mean?
Wealth Wednesday's flashing that
Yeah, let
nice
you hold,
check.
hold your first $250,000.
And honestly, you don't know what that did to people in the room, man.
Yeah.
Just to see a black man in a space like that.
No, I kind of do. I do. I know. I'm talking about
I'm talking about the other person on the other side.
For real,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I could have got a wire.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm like, no, give me the check. I'll come back and get it. Like, I couldn't even come back and get it because I had to be there on time.
Right.
Star had to bring it to me.
Yes.
And they like call
Shout
me.
out to
They had to
Star.
like Star. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, so they had to bring it to me.
Right.
But to be able to have the biggest moment monetarily on you, but to not be able to celebrate it because you got the mayor, you hosting the mayor on this day.
Yes.
The same day that the mayor hosted the president.
Yeah.
So like that day,
Monumental.
you know what I mean? That day, Ed Gainey's day was like, wait for President Biden to get here.
Yes.
Run around with President Biden. Get lunch after President Biden leaves.
Yeah.
Come to Wealth Wednesday, kick it with Mr. Rice. You know what I mean? And
we
he
had
stayed.
we had a great turnout.
And he stayed till like 10 o'clock. Like, it was like, well, go after 10 when he left. Like, and his staff wanted him to leave at 7. He's got to go.
That
He's
was
gotta
true.
go. And he was like, no, I'm here. You know what I mean? This is where I need to be.
Yeah.
And it felt good. I didn't get a chance, saying it on here is good too. Like, I feel like he got a chance to just be Ed.
Yeah.
Like when after the pictures and everything, he just got to sit down and just,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Kick it.
Just be. He had to be the mayor
Yep.
of Pittsburgh for a little moment.
Yeah, I can't imagine the
You
job.
know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? The pressure. And then, and then the election was the very next week.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but everything, all about government month was planned.
Yep.
It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't random.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We knew what we was doing.
Strategically,
Strategically putting it there. And so, to tie up the real estate, to use the healthcare to tie it into the real estate.
Right.
And why it's all important is that, one, we needed the money from the healthcare.
Right.
And we needed the experience from being regulated in healthcare so we can be doing it differently.
Right.
Now, in real estate, it's like anything else. You can have a landscaping company, or you can be a nigga with a lawnmower. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can be out here cutting grass, or you can have a landscaping business.
Right.
It's an approach, it's a mindset, and it makes a difference.
Yes.
And so, because we come from a regulated industry, we kind of approach everything like a policy and procedure.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, we just have that level of focus. We only really done business with the government.
Gotcha.
Right? So that what I realized in doing the healthcare business was like, it's all the same. Like how you start any business is how you start every business.
Right.
And like whether it's a bank, like we can start our own bank.
Bruh.
Like you know what I mean? Like an hour, like we can print the stuff out before you leave here.
Right.
We print out the chapter. And we just read it.
Yeah.
And it's a step by. It's like it seems crazy, but it's really not. It's a step-by-step process that everybody got to go through. I'm gonna have one of my staff turn the air conditioning on.
Gotcha. Hey, man, making money while you. So while you're doing that, I do want to emphasize while we have these very specific buildings, occasions, opening of summer 2024, coming 2024, opening spring 2024, because that kind of ties into what you were saying about, you know, real estate. And Joe, just explain.
So that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue, right? And so because we realize that we do business, but we do it with the government. And the reason why I'm such an advocate for people doing business with the government is because the government, one, they buy everything.
Yes.
And they have more money than everyone.
Yes.
Really everyone put together. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, in theory.
Right.
And they got the power to print the money. So this, what you're looking at, we'll start up top with the posters. I bumped into, we got to start with, before we get into this, we got to give Pittsburgh a shout out. Okay. Because Pittsburgh is a resource-rich city. Because oil and gas and steel was